a strategy that is being used at this moment, the BYOB cash out strategy. It is being used on the web analyzer. She is a phenomenal woman. She has 100% of the information, having fun, helping a lot of people. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you none other than Miss Tasha M. Dyer. Miss Dyer, are you on the phone?
Yes, I am. And thank you so very much for your warm welcome this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank Miss Sharon Edgecombe for what she is doing. She is also retired police force, Orlando, Florida, where we are definitely spearheading the women's movement and Boots to Banks. This information has to be shared. And we're talking about sharing this with 1 million families. 1 million families. This is phenomenal because when you think about it, 1 million families by the 28th of March, 2021. So this is definitely information that you want to write down. It's definitely information that you want to be shared. So 1 million families, and it starts with you. It definitely starts with you. And I just want to share something with you because we're talking about a retail apocalypse. Why is this information so important? Why does everyone have to know this information? Why is it important for us to take control of our finances, our legacy? You know, why are these movements here? Why are we wanting to financially educate and financially impact 1 million families? It is because what's happening all around us. It is because we're educated on everything. You know, we're educated on so many different things, on so many different levels, but finances is what's left out. Finances is where we're not educated. And the reason I love this company, the reason I love the BYOB movement, the reason I love what we're doing is because the focus and the foundation is education. And the writing's on the wall. Information is hidden in plain sight. You literally have stores closing. They didn't see the writing on the wall. They didn't see it, or they didn't pay attention to it because it was there. And what happened? What happened today? I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Ladies and gentlemen, guests on the line, it is a retail apocalypse. It is what's happening right now. And this is how we have changed the way we do business. We have changed the way we do things. Everything is shifting. And when you have CVS is closing. It is closing 46 locations. So everything is being affected by the way distribution changed. Everything is being affected. 25% of all retail stores will be closed by 2025. So that's when everything is, the shift is here. The shift is happening. So it's either we adjust and adapt and we learn how to take control of our finances, or you miss the boat, you miss the movement. So that's why this movement is so important to me. That's why you are accepting the challenge to be your own bank, BYOB challenge, hashtag. That's why it is so important. It is so important to our coach and our mentor, Mr. Jody Rogers. It's passionate. We're here for you. We're here to help you educate yourself. And so as we get started with the training tomorrow, I want to challenge everyone. We've accepted the BYOB challenge. If you're a guest on this call, you accept the BYOB challenge. But how do we share? How do we impact 1 million families? We do that by you letting them know. The stores are closing. It's not a secret. So we don't want it to be a secret that we have life-changing, impactful information. And what does that mean? Social media, everywhere. Tomorrow, hashtag BYOB challenge. Hashtag BYOB challenge. Hashtag you could be trading. That's the hashtags. Flood social media. Let everyone know, because this is not a secret. Our banks do not hesitate and keep it a secret when they use our information. Our banks don't hesitate. They use our finances. We put our money in the bank. They use it to trade. They're profiting. They're making money. So we don't want to be in a secret service either. So they're going to profit. The banks and financial institutions is what moves the market. We know that. And we're learning how to ride the wave. You're being educated on how to ride the wave. You're being educated on how you can take impact and how you can take effect and how you can take control of your finances. And that's what we're here to do. That's how we're impacting it. But as promised, we're going to show you, we're always building from ground up every month, as promised. So, but as you go back and you do those hashtags, as you do them, you want to make sure that it's happening. You want to make sure that it's being done, and it's being done at 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 7 p.m., hashtags, 1 million families. Every time you go to post, every time you go to think, you think about 1 million families. Think about how your life is being changed. Think about how you are being financially impacted. Think about the things that are being done for you financially. Why would you hold on to something that great? When we get our hair done, we go do anything else in life, we share that information. So this is just about understanding the BYOB challenge. Accepting the challenge is a life-changing, is life-changing. And where we are tonight, Tuesday, we discussed the, Ms. Sharon Edgecombe just mentioned in the beginning that the strategy, I'm getting results, I'm getting feedback. We're talking about people who are quadrupling their account, tripling their account, doubling their account. You know, they're winning. They're winning on this. I did 5 today. I'm winning. So share your results. Post them in a group, because the reason that strategy came about is because I know I got started, yes, being a financial advisor, but I knew absolutely nothing about trading. Absolutely nothing. I knew about the foreign exchange market, but I knew absolutely nothing. So that strategy came is because I wanted to help and assist you shorten your learning curve. I wanted to make sure that while you learn the market, while you learn market structure, while you learn technical analysis, while you're learning, because this call is in addition to what you get in the academy. This call is in addition to what you're doing. This is a study hall. But we wanted to make sure while you're studying, you could be in a position of profit. You could literally do minimal analysis and put yourself in a position of profit. And that is where the BYOB cash out came from. So you can cash out while you're learning. And because of that, where we are tonight, so that's Tuesday's training. That was Tuesday. And we're going to do it again because I want to make sure everyone has it. But tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to take it back to the basics. We're going to take it to the beginning. We're going to take it to help you understand how you can be successful. How can you be successful at what you're doing? And that's where we are this evening. That's where we are tonight. Because we want to make sure if we're impacting 1 million families, we have to know that when they get started, when they accept the challenge to be their own bank, that they know where to get started, where to begin, what do I do? And understand this might not hit every single thing, but that's what the academy is for. So, but if you have questions, ask your questions. If you need clarification, ask that question. But the academy, this is an addition to. You enroll into the academy, you learn the tools, because we're all looking at the market. And as we look at the market, we all see it differently. And that is the purpose of the tools. Those tools help you. The tools help identify where you are, what your strengths are, how you see it. And then it puts you in a position of profit. And as long as you stay plugged in, you're going to win. You stay plugged in, it's going to happen. You stay plugged in, then you're going to elevate to the next level. That's where we're at, and that's what we're discussing. So I'm going to share my screen because we're going to cover some basics. So BYOB, be your own bank. It's all about you learning a skill set. It's all about you becoming your own bank. That's what it's about. You are operating as the banks do. You're operating the exact same way that the banks do. That keep that in your mindset. Keep that in the forefront of your mind. You don't hear banks. We had a government shutdown. You're still having a trickle effect from that. But you don't hear banks complaining. You don't hear them wavering. You don't hear any of that. And that is strictly because that they take our money and they use it. They make money in so many different ways. But what they do with our money is they trade it in the largest financial market in the world. And that's where you are. You're on this call because you made the decision and you want to make sure that you can do the exact same thing. Operate like a bank, think like a bank, be your own bank. Now, first things first, where do I get started? What do I do? Where do I get started? You enroll first. Simple as that. You enroll. Then you want to go to imlacademyonline.com. You get there through your virtual office or directly from this site. And you want to go through the basics, which is in the Academy and Technical Analysis. This is definitely something that you want to make sure that you're doing. And you want to go to IML TV, Forex 101, and Forex Basics. Now, I'm going to share my story. Don't feel bad if you got to watch something more than once. Yes, Dr. Bythewood, he's phenomenal. He broke this down. He said that from an education standpoint, to go through all of this, you need 10 hours. So that's 10 hours to put you in a position to be elevated. 10 hours to put you in a position to where you can literally take control of what you're doing and you can begin getting in the market. You can begin to do these things. However, if you're like me and have to go back over something more than one time, don't feel bad. Because my story is I had to watch the PIP video maybe 10 times. I had to learn how to count pips. I had to learn how to do that. But as you can see, it didn't frustrate me. A year, a little bit over a year, here I am on this call, and I'm sharing this information, and I'm sharing it, I'm teaching it, and we're doing this together. So regardless of your start point, regardless if you're the one like Miss Philippa Duncan, who on here, in 6 weeks, she was training on the bounce back. Regardless if you're the one like me, who it took a couple weeks to understand what a PIP was, what we're gaining and where we're headed and what we're understanding is the fact that you want to put yourself in a winning position. Because right now, today, a little over a year, I honestly don't care that it took me a couple weeks to figure out a PIP. Yes, in the beginning, I had to go through that. But right now, today, because of where I've progressed to and where I am, and I've become my own bank, you focus on the results. Focus on where you're going. Stay focused on the goal, and that's what's going to get you to the success. Focus on the goal. Goal in mind, end results in mind. Always focus on where you're headed. So when you log onto that academy, you want to make sure you're focused on the goal. You're focused on where you're headed and where you're going. And what you're trying to accomplish as far as being your own bank, it has to be bigger and greater than any video you watch, bigger and greater than anywhere you're going. And you will become your own bank. You just have to stay focused on the goal and the end result. Risk management. I cannot stress this enough. Risk management. As you enroll, when you get started, what you want to focus on is the skill set. The money is going to come. It's going to happen. It's going to come. You focus on the skill set. Yes, Forex is out there. Yes, it's a buzzword right now. Yes, so many people have heard about it. But yes, you've heard stories. But focus on the skill set, because the skill set is what's going to make you a successful trader. The skill set is what's going to increase your revenue and your bank account. The skill set is what's going to make you a safe trader. Risk management. Just like driving a car, that's got to be the most dangerous piece of machinery out there. That is the heaviest and dangerous. We do 70 miles down the road. But yet, because you was focused, because you wanted to get to the other side, because you had a burning desire, because you didn't want to call Uber all the time, you didn't want to catch rides and call taxis, Uber, ride with your friends, giving people gas money, you didn't want to do that all the time. You focused on the end goal and the end game, and you now are a licensed driver. That is how you have to think about this. That is what you have to do, because if you would have thought about the dangers of driving, if you would have thought about what you had to go through to get there, I have to understand the brake, the pedal, make sure I'm in drive, my mirrors, my rear view mirror, I'm looking on the front road, I got blind spots, all these other things that keep people from moving forward, that keep you from stepping into where you need to go. That's what you have to do as far as your skill set. Focus on the skill set. You don't focus on accidents. You don't focus on the other drivers. You don't focus on what's happening in another state. You focus on the fact that I need to learn how to drive. I need to make sure I do this so I get to where I'm going. And as long as you stay focused on the skill set, you will get to where you're going. And in this case, the destination is be your own bank. This case, the destination is I'm taking control of my finances. This case, the destination is I'm headed to the other end to where I am in control of my life. I'm in control of my time. That is what you do. You learn the skill set, and you keep your emotions in check. Always, always, always keep your emotions in check. When you're trading, when you're going through this, you have to, the skill set, I cannot stress it enough. The skill set is what's important. You cannot be emotional. The same way you cannot be an emotional driver. I cannot be out there with road rage. If I have road rage, then guess what? The chances are something else is going to happen. You want to be in control at all times. Remember, we're riding the wave of the market. Our banks, any financial institution that deals with money, hedge fund, insurance, government, whoever deals with our money are the ones that move the market. So it's very, very important. In the market, we can study the market, because you look left, it's going to happen again. You know, the same way when your insurance company sends you a bill in the mail or they rate your premium, is because they looked left. They looked in the past to understand what type of driver you were. So when you're trading the market, you want to make sure that you look left. You keep your emotions in check. Because if you are an irrational driver, guess what? Your insurance rates are going to go up. So, but they didn't start you out that way because they trusted what was going to happen based on looking left. So you keep your emotions in check, then you will have the success. You will be in control. So you always want to not be reactive. You always want to just make sure you're in a good space when you go to trade. As you're learning, you know, you sit down and you educate yourself on what you're doing. Focus on the end game, which is be your own bank. And then you learn the skill set. You learn the skill set and stay focused on that. Grab you a strategy. Try another one. Guess what? You learn that skill set. And as you learn that skill set, and that's the purpose of the BYOB cash out, because it's not difficult. It doesn't take much analysis, but yet we're in profit behind it. You know, so many people are in profit behind that strategy while they're learning a skill set. And what that does is it builds your confidence. It gives you the ability to get out there and to begin digging deeper in the market to where, you know what, now I want to know how to do my support and resistance lines. Now I want to know how to do more. I want to understand market structure. I want to understand how to read the market. I want to make sure I learn the candles. So that's where you want to go. Then the last thing on here is you demo. You always practice first. You got your permit before your driver's license, at least you were supposed to, right? You actually had to practice, whether you had a permit or not, you still had to practice. You had to practice. You got in the car with your parents or an adult and you practiced. I love football, but guess what? They practice. Even though they come on year after year after year after year, guess what they just did? They had a draft. They picked up new players. They did new things. They traded players. So guess what? Something new happened. So guess what? I'm learning a new strategy. I'm learning something different. I want to implement something else. So guess what? I go back and I demo. You always demo first. That's that preseason before you get in the game. You always demo and you make sure you're demoing successfully before you jump into the live market, before you jump into the game. It's so very important. Now, with everything, you have your basic rules. You have basics. So before we dive into this, I always want to pause, because I know I said, let me know if you got questions, put them in the chat, whatever it is. But I'm going to pause before we get into the rules, and I'm going to see if we have any questions or comments. Any questions, any comments? Okay, no questions, no comments. If you want to raise your hand while I'm going through this, put something in the chat, or if you have a question, make sure you state your name and then your question. But here are rules. Road signs. You have to understand this. These are very important as to getting into trading. So when I'm demoing, I want to make sure that I definitely understand what this is. I want to understand what I'm doing. You want to understand what a buy stop is. You want to understand what a sell stop, a buy limit and a sell limit, right? So with a buy stop, you know, we all know when we look onto our MetaTrader 4, which I'm going to show you that in just a moment if you aren't aware of what that is. But we also have market execution, and that's not on here. Market execution means that I'm placing a trade, and when I go place that trade, I'm immediately entering the market. At that moment, buy or sell, I'm entering the moment at whatever price it is. So some strategies call for market execution. The BYOB cash out calls for market execution when you get to where you're headed, when you get to that call price, or when you see everything lined up. But what you want to do is market execution. It means I'm going in the market right then, right there at that price. Some strategies call for that. But you also want to know what it is. A buy stop. Let's say I don't want to enter the market right then, right there. I want to place a buy stop. What a buy stop means is that I am going to enter the market. I believe, I've done my analysis, and I believe the market is going to continue to go in a buy. I believe the market is going to continue to buy. So what I do is I place an order right then and there. I place that order, and I say, if and when the price gets to this point, I want to enter the market. If and when the price gets to a point, and I believe this is going to continue to rise. So if and when this does happen, this is the price I'm going to go into the market. A sell stop. I believe the market is going to continue to decline. It's going to continue to go in a sell position. When and if it continues to do that, this is the price I'm going to enter the market. A buy limit means I believe the price is, yes, we're in a buy, but I know and believe that because I've done my analysis, that the market is going to go in a downward trend. But it's going to, I need it to go up to a certain point first before it turns around. So, I'm sorry, I mixed that up. The order is placed below the price. So I'm looking at this to go in an upward trend. I'm going to go up. We believe the market is going to go up, but right now it's in a sell. It's going in a downward trend. So if you look at this arrow, what that's saying is this is the price is moving down, but I believe it's going to go up. I believe it's going to go up. So that's when I place my buy limit. And a sell limit is the same thing in the opposite direction. So I know I feel that the market is going down. The market is going to sell. So, but right now we're in an upward, and then it's going to turn around and it's going to go down. It's going to turn around. And it has to get to a certain price point before it turns around, and that's what a sell limit is. Now, this is an example of a buy stop. So as I was just describing, a buy stop. See the market, you talk about support and resistance lines, support and resistance lines. So support and resistance lines are very important. But what I'm seeing right here, the market typically moves around between those support and resistance lines. but then they break out. They do change, they do move out of that position. So what you do with a buy stop is I set a buy stop above that line. And what happens is I believe the market's moving, but I feel that the market, because I've done my analysis, the market's gonna move up. The market's is going to buy, but I don't want to do it before it breaks out of that, before it goes through that resistance line. So where your buy stop is entered or is placed is above that line, but however, you notice I've done my analysis and I believe that the market is going to continue to rise. So this is why I want to place my buy stop, expecting the market to move higher. A sell stop, same thing, opposite direction, same lines. We have my resistance and support line. Of course, these lines are not, unless you draw them, you won't see them on the chart. That's why when you're doing these, based on the strategy you're using and what you've studied, you want to know that what I'm looking at, I believe the market's going to continue to decline. It's going to go in that sell. So it's expected to move lower. Now remember, foreign exchange, I make money whether it's going up, it's going down, it's going sideways. I'm always able to make money. This is sideways. In this picture, this is the market moving up. In this picture, this is the market moving down. So when it finishes navigating through the support and resistance line, I have expectancy that it's going to go into a sell. It's going to continue to go into lower. It's going to continue to go down. But I want to profit off of that. So I place my sell stop. You see, I enter the market once it comes past that support line. So once it does that, the breakout occurs. Now I can profit. That's what a buy stop and a sell stop is. Buy and sell limit. See how everything happens with these support and resistance lines. So I have a resistance and I have a support. But what a sell limit is, remember, I believe the market is going to decline. I believe the market is going down. So looking at this, what I see is my range. Range simply means what's happening within the support and resistance line. See, this is the market moving sideways. This is the market moving, but it's moving sideways. So I'm not in an upward trend or a downward trend. However, what I want to say, or what I want to see is the market's going up. See, it's going up and then it comes back down. But I want to trade within this range. I can remember this is the foreign exchange market. I can make money. I can profit. The market moving up, the market moving down, and the market moving sideways. So while it's bouncing around in this range, for example, I can profit. I can do that. So what the sell limit does is it allows me, if it breaks this resistance line, but it does not. For example, this is a break right here. Now, if we notice on the buy stop and the sell limit, when it broke those lines, it kept going. So what I'm looking for is it to stay within the range. So when it breaks this line, I can continue, it'll turn around and it'll go down. So here's another example. It breaks that line, but yet it turns around and goes back into a sell because I'm trading within my range. So when it does that, I can literally begin to enter the market from the sell all the way down to the support line, and you have the opportunity to profit from that. And then it turns around, it breaks the support line. So this is where I would put my buy limit order because I believe it's going to break. I believe it's going to continue to stay within this range. So when I put this buy limit order in, it turns around and the market continues up. So that's what the buy and sell limits are. Buy limit, I expect the market to go down, which as you can see, the market went down, but I expect it to turn around and move up. Same thing. With a sell limit, I expect the market to go up because we know it's going to go up, but I also expect it to turn around and go back down. So I will enter the market when it does that, when it breaks this resistance line. So now I know when I started trading, I had questions on this. This is something I had to learn the difference between the buy stop, the sell stop, the buy limit, the sell limit. So before we keep going, do I have any questions, any comments? This is a good time to ask. Okay, I have a question. Avis, what's your question? Just unmute your mic and ask your question.
How do you read pips?
Good question, and we're getting there next. I promise. That's coming up. So the pips is the pips is basically, let me see. See, this is where the pips are. And so the pips is the percentage in point, and the pips, we're gonna count pips based on the type of currency that we're looking at. So that is definitely on the slides. That's why I wanted to show you where it was. So you definitely know that I'm definitely getting there. But I'm gonna address that in just a moment. If you give me just a moment, I'm gonna address that.
Okay, on the slides, you basically saying that this is your range and you're going to be able to make money going up and going down?
And sideways, regardless of what the market's doing. The key thing with foreign exchange trading is knowing where to enter and where to exit. That's what you're learning with foreign exchange. You know, this does not operate like the stock market. The stock market, we purchase and it has to rise in order for us to make money. And that's the stock market. And we have to hope and pray that it rises. But with the foreign exchange market, we get to make money regardless of what's going on. So just like the Dow was down 600 points and everyone was complaining not too long ago, guess what? We were unbothered, like literally unbothered, because with foreign exchange trading, I don't care what the market is doing. I'm glad it's down 600 points because that's 600 points worth of gain of profit that I'm able to obtain. So the market can move up, the market could be going down, and the market could go sideways. I'm in profit. All you have to learn is where to enter and where to exit. That's the key right there.
And you're going to teach of how to learn when to enter and how to exit out of that, right?
Correct. And that's exactly what the Academy does. So, and that's what the Academy does, but that's what we do as well. But also, that's what the different strategies are. So just like on Tuesday, and I also have the recording, and then of course we'll do it again, like the BYOB cash out. Wanted to simplify you being able to put in profit. But each strategy will teach you entry point. They will teach you take profit. So for example, BYOB cash out is 10 pips, unless like, you know, it's 10 pips. So we're able to look at that and say, okay, I'm entering the market here and my exit point is 10 pips later. So based on strategy that you're using, then that's how you enter and exit, because it's the same market. It's just what you're doing to analyze it that determines your entry and exit point. So now, when we look here, we have, this is the example of a stop loss. Stop loss is important. Stop loss is very, very, very important. So with your stop loss, for example, here's that resistance line again. So I'm trying to, this is a buy. So I'm moving to a buy. And with a buy, see, this is the risks that you're taking. Understand that as you go through and you begin understanding your risk management, you begin understanding how much you want to risk and what's comfortable to you as you go through the Academy and you actually learn this. But you always want to have a stop loss. Stop loss simply means stop the loss. So I'm not risking anything I'm not willing to lose. Now, we're always analyzing the market from a perspective that always analyzing the market from the perspective that, you know, based on my analysis, I'm going to go and profit. But you never know what can happen based on news. So like this week, for example, longest market closure since World War II. But the Japanese are on a golden holiday. So that's going to affect all the market. They have a Japanese golden week. So it's important to understand major news occurrences. But that's going to shift the way, you know, that's why we gave the warning, trade with caution. The holidays. So whatever, certain things like that can affect it, because yes, you look left, the market repeats itself. Yes, I look left, I can tell that if I'm in an uptrend, the market is going to go up, but then it's going to retrace a little bit. It's going to go up, it's going to retrace. See where my arrow is, that's what you call a retracement, a pullback. But so the market always is the sellers, because this is buyers and sellers in the market, is buyers and sellers that are going back and forth. Remember, we are riding the wave. So what this is the buyers and sellers. So the market's going up, and then the sellers try to get in. But the buyers are in control, the sellers try to get in. The buyers are in control, the sellers get in. And it continues this same path until we get to where we know, because we are learning how to read candles as well, we know that this is about to turn around. So, however, the stop loss is here because based on things like what we're just talking about, you know, because things can happen, we want to control it. We want to always win more than we lose. We always want to control that. And so what I have here is a buy. So what I'm going in for a buy. And as you can see, the buy went all the way to the top, but that's going to be quite a few pips. But I want to have a stop loss in case that does not happen. You always trade with a stop loss. You always trade with a stop loss. And I'm going to say that again. This is proper risk management. This is proper skill set. That's what that is. You focus on the skill set. You always trade with a stop loss. Take profit based on the strategy that you're using. BYOB cash out, for example, 10 pips. But based on the strategy, if you're using the London payout, they're going to tell you your take profit. The take profit takes you out the trade. It's like it's going to, when you hit, this is your entry point. For example, this is the entry point. Now, this is where the market is. So we're in the trade in this example. We are in the trade. So when I move to my take profit, the take profit is going to, when you hit the take profit, you don't have to do anything else. The take profit is going to close your trade in profit, period. You enter, I put my take profit. That's exactly what it means. Take profit. It's taking profit. And then the stop loss, if it went in the wrong direction for what we were trying to do, is going to stop the loss. You control it. This is proper risk management. This is proper skill set analysis. This is just proper risk management. So you control your finances. You always want to be in control of your finances because that is how you become your own bank. So this is very important. You learn all of this while you are in your demo account. Demo account. If you don't understand before we move forward. Buy stop, sell stop, buy limit, sell limit, buy stop, sell stop, buy and sell limit, stop loss, take profit. Do all of that well in your demo account, then you move forward to live. You learn all of that. You learn how to work everything in there before you go live. Now, don't be, jump in, start trading. That's how you're going to learn it. Start trading. You have to do it. Jump in the water, put your foot in the water. You have to do that, but you're doing it in your demo account so you can begin trading successfully. Nothing should be stopping you from moving forward in your demo account. You demo like it's a live account, period. That's it. Demo and treat it the exact same way you would your live account. Now, a pip. We talk about pips a lot. We talk about pips. A pip is a percentage in point. Now, with most currency pairs, it's the fourth decimal. JPY, it's the second one behind the decimal. So it's four behind the decimal, or it's 2 behind the decimal. So look, take a look. Here are your examples. If my pip count, always remember, I'm not worried about the pipette, which is the 5th digit or the 3rd digit. I'm not worried about the pipette. And a rule of thumb, I'm not going to tell you you have to do this, but like if I have a pipette that says it's a whatever number it is, put a 0 there. Put a 0 there. We're riding the wave. Who moves the market, they know that they're going to be looking for you to put those numbers. Put a 0 behind there. So just we're riding the wave. So I always replace my pipette with a 0. Now, here we are. I have 1.1112. That's my call price. That's where I enter the market. If I go to 1113 behind the decimal point, see, that's the 4th digit. That's a 1 pip gain. If I go below, like if I'm trying to sell, then I would go to 0.1111. If I'm trying to add my pips, I'm trying to gain pips in a buy, I add them. For pips in a sell, I subtract them. That's how I gain. Because if the market's moving up, then I'm going to add them. If the market's moving down, I want to subtract them. That's how I do my pip gain. Now, for a Japanese pair, is like this is 90.93. 90.94 is a 1 pip gain. So to gain in a sale would be 90.93. I mean 90.92. So that would be a 1 pip gain. So if I'm moving up and I'm going in a buy, then I'm gonna add pips, but it's always at the 4th digit behind the decimal, and it's out for JPY pairs, it's always at the 2nd digit behind the decimal. If I'm going in a sale, same thing. I subtract the numbers, but that's how we gain, because the market moves. That's how the market moves. That price and percentage, that pip, is how we are able to equally across the board calculate the movement in the market globally, because this is a global market. Lot size, important. People want to know, how do I relate my lot size to how much money I make? The pip movement to my dollars, because pips are global. But now I deal with dollars. So how do I make that make sense? How do I correlate that to making money? Well, where most brokers start, and I say I have never seen, where is this at? Here we go, my mouse. But how most brokers start is your volume size. When you look at your volume, when you go to enter your lot size when you're MetaTrader 4, where you actually put your trade account, then you go to your micro lot, and that's 0.01. What that is 10 cents a pip. 0.01 is 10 cents a pip. So we can all have the same pips. We can all do 10 pips, but it's what you're trading is how it relates to money. So if I gain 10 pips, oh, my mouse. If I gain 10 pips, then that's 10 cents a pip. So it's 10 cents times 10, right? 10 cents times 10. So what do I have? 10 cents times 10, I gain $1, right? So if I do a mini lot, now I'm at 0.10, and so now I'm at $1 a pip. I'm at $1 a pip. Now what does that mean? 10, instead of $1, 10. And it just keeps moving like that. So that is how you relate your dollar amount to what my pips to what I actually bring home and what I make. Now, this is what I want to show you. I want to now go and I want to begin doing my MetaTrader 4. I'm now ready to begin trading. So before we even go here, there is something I do want to show you. So I'm going to change my share. You want to set up your demo account. That's what you want to do. You definitely want to you want to set up your demo account. Let me stop share for a moment and pull this up for you. And bear with me because my mouse is doing some wonderful things. It keeps disconnecting and connecting. You want to set up your demo account, right? Definitely want to set up your demo account. Now, I'm going to show you an example. Where is my, it's coming back up, just bear with me. Now, your broker is your personal choice. I'm not recommending a broker on here at all, okay? This is not me recommending a broker. Your broker is your personal choice. However, for example, yes, MetaTrader 4 does do a broker. Yeah, I mean, not a broker. MetaTrader 4 does a demo platform. But what you want to do is I want to trade like I'm live. I want to trade the same way. I want to be like I'm live. So I want to practice how I'm going to perform. So you want to get a demo account. You want to be able to track your trades. You want to be, if I change from my cell phone to my computer to my tablet, I want to be able to track my trades. So once again, this is just an example of a broker. I'm not recommending a broker. You choose the broker that fits your personality. Now, where you want to go, if I'm using CoinEx, for example, I want to open an account. So you're going to open an account, right? Now, you want to fill out all this information. Fill it out completely. So then you want to submit and you want to enroll and have you an account, right? So when you do that, now they're going to give you an activation code. You're going to have to sign in. So we want to sign in. So hold on. Let me stop this for a moment. I want to show you something. So you're going to sign in, and I'll stop the share because I'm not sharing my passwords. Okay. Now I'm going to share this with you again. So now here I am. I'm in my broker's account. I'm in an account. And what you want to do is go. They all look a little different when you get into the different broker accounts, but you want to go in there where it says demo account, okay? And when you get to your demo account, you select the trading demo account and you want to create an account, okay? You want to create an account. So leverage, you get to pick leverage. Now for leverage, I'm going to say this, and then I wanted to use the power of the unmuted mic to understand leverage and what it is on the following call, which is a talk with the finance doctor. So he is the expert in this industry, and I want to make sure I get through everything. So I want to make sure that we use the power of the unmuted mic so you can understand what leverage and how much leverage you should utilize. Now, just for example, understanding leverage is like a loan that you borrow from. It's like a loan. So example, you go buy a $200,000 house. The bank asks you for $40,000. So you're leveraging. That's leverage. So it's no different than anything you do in your life already, because now you get to trade more. So if I had to buy a house for $40,000, I'm not going to get much house. But when I leverage the bank, then I get more value and I get more house, right? But yet they still say it's mine. It's no different than a leverage here in your demo account or a leverage in your real account. But as I stated, I want to use the power of the unmuted mic to make sure that we discuss that in the talk with the finance doctor. So currency, USD. So we're using USD. And then you want to add funds. What would you put in your real account? Would you put $50,000? Do you have $50,000 to put in there? Do you have $500, $100 when you get started? So whatever it is that you're going to use live, that's what you want to demo, okay? You always want to go there. And then setting up your broker account is just that simple. So now, if I go back to the PowerPoint because I have to take this information and I have to relate it to what I'm doing. I have to take this information and relate it to how I'm going to be trading. So what I do is I come on my MetaTrader 4. Now I have an iPhone, so I can't tell you if it looks a little different. I can't tell you how it looks for you. But what I can tell you is on the iPhone, which the Samsung should not be that much different, settings. You want to hit your settings. And when you go to your settings, you're actually able to add this information. You're able to create a new account. And when you create a new account, you want to click this plus, and you're gonna have to use your broker. You're gonna have to use, and I cut mine off. So, but you're gonna have to be able to use, it's gonna allow you to add your new account. But when you add it, you want to log into an existing account, because what we just did in creating that demo account is going to give you what you need. It's going to give you a unique password, a username and password. So when I come into my MetaTrader 4, I go to settings, I go to my new account, and there are arrows right here that you can click. So I can click here to do it if I already have an account. It's gonna have your name on there. And or you click new account, I wanna log into an existing account. Now what? Log into an existing account. So after I do that, right, and I'm gonna keep moving for the sake of time, and then I'll allow for questions at the end. When you open your MetaTrader account for Android, you wanna make sure this is how you begin entering and exiting your trades. So when you log on, this is where the screen is gonna open. So you wanna go to, these are your quotes. I'm on the quote screen. I can add currency pairs using this plus, but these are your quotes. So if I'm looking at a trade and I'm analyzing one and I want to enter it, I always have to come back here to my quotes. And that's how I began to enter that. Now you want to click on it. And this is where, so we got a new order. But this is what we were just talking about. Do I want to do market execution, buy limit, sell limit, buy stop, sell stop? How do I want to enter that trade? I want to make sure that I'm entering my take profit, and you want to enter your stop loss. Right here, that lot size. What are we trading? Right here, they're trading a mini lot. What am I going to trade? Am I going to trade a micro lot? Am I going to trade a mini lot? This is where, a standard lot. So this is where you put that. This is where it goes. And I'm looking at $1 a pip, but no, this is your lot size. So this is actually a standard lot. Now, Android continues. So new order, you can make changes. New order, you want to add additional trade information from this window. You can modify your order. You can go in and modify. You can close your order. Like, let's say you're ready to take your profit. You can hold it and close and open a trade. You close your order. I wanna close it. I don't want to wait for it to take profit. I don't want to wait, or I don't want to take the full stop, or whatever it is. You can close the order, and that's what you want to be able to do. And then your iPhone, the exact same thing. So with an iPhone, we have your start. Open your MetaTrader 4 on your screen. This is what it looks like. You got your currency pairs. And the iPhone, I'm biased. You see it actually says quotes. It says chart. It's going to say trade. And it gives you what you need, your settings. It actually says it on there. And of course, when you click on that currency pair, it's going to allow you to trade. You could look at the chart or get details. Now, when I go here, market execution, all of that same stuff is right there. The market execution, the buy stop, the sell stop, the buy limit, the sell limit. And I want to sell by market or I want to buy by market. This actually says stop loss, take profit. So take profit, stop loss. You actually just put it in. I'm not having to look at red or green. And it also gives you this is where you want to enter your lot size. You want to make sure you check all of that as you're entering trades. This is why it's important to demo all of the things we just said. Now, understand when I say the skill set, the money will come. It's going to come. Spreads, though. These are spreads. So simple does not show you spreads. Advanced shows you spreads. You want to know what the spreads are. The spreads are the broker fee. That's what the broker is going to profit off that trade. So depending on what you're trading, you want to pay attention to spreads. Why do you hear so many people say when the market opens, do not trade as soon as the market opens? As soon as the market opens, a spread might be 15, for example, but when that market opens, it might be 200 or 300 because the market just opened. They're just getting to work. They're just figuring it out. So you want to pay attention to that. I'm not jumping in a trade. If I know this is a traditional currency pair, look how low the spread is. But the spread goes up to like 2,000. I'm not taking that trade until the spread's lower because now the market's stable. And for example, this is an exotic currency pair. Are you comfortable with trading yet? Am I there? No, I'm not getting in this trade because I don't want to jump in with a spread that high. You want to make sure you do it. Now, you want to focus on the skill set. This is what you're going to look like when you get started initially, 9 times out of 10. I'm not going to say everybody. I'm going to say 9 times out of 10. When you get started, this is what you're going to look like. The skill set, I'm in the blue. The skill set means take profit. The skill set, that's the skill set. 10 cents a pip, I can turn that into almost $5. I can turn it into $5. I can turn it into almost $1. That's the skill set. Now you know what you're doing. You want to see profit. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to begin trading and you're going to begin profiting. So past profits don't guarantee future results. But what you want to understand is this is what it will end up looking like. This is how you become your own bank. When you can be comfortable with this, this is how that happens. And of course, it increases from there. This is how you become your own bank. This is how you take control of your finances. This is how you take control of your life. That's what this is all about, is be your own bank. Start with the basics, demo, watch this video again if you have to. This video is here, so anytime you share this information with someone. And of course, we always want to do this to where we go back to the basics because we always want to make sure that everyone begins and launches. This is in addition to the academy. This is in addition to what you're learning because you enroll. You learn the tools, you learn your skill set, and then that puts you in a position of profit, which is how you be your own bank. So it's just about time to transition this call. So as we do that, do I have any quick questions or comments so we can properly transition this call?
Hi, hello, can you hear me, Tasha?
Yes, I can. Who's speaking?
This is Autumn.
Hi, Autumn.
Hi, thank you so much. All this is just so exciting. Quick question. When you were going over the spread, what unit were those numbers in? Were those in dollars or pips or, I mean, what's the difference between 9 and 15? Is that $9 or, because you said that's how much?
It's gonna always be pips. It's gonna, everything that we do is in pips.
Okay, so the spread is in pips. Okay.
Correct. And so that's why, like if you look, let me find a quick picture real quick. I know I saw it on here. Like here it is, for example. You see, what you see is these two different numbers highlighted. These are almost overlapping because the spread is small. But sometimes you'll see one way up here and way down there. That's the spread. So that means that all of that has to transition and pass through. All of that has to pass through before you're able to take profit. That's what that means.
Okay. All right. Got it. Thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, though, it really is time to transition this call. But as we transition, do not forget, this is why we're hashtagging. This is why we're so motivated. This is why on the 18th of May in Jacksonville, Florida, we actually have a trade expo because of the success that we've had, because we are impacting 1 million families. We wrote it down. We're on a mission. We are going to financially educate and impact 1 million families by the 28th of March, 2021. This is where it begins. It starts with you. Hashtag BYOB challenge. You could be trading tomorrow. And do not forget, the 20th of July, the BYOB Leadership Conference in Jacksonville, Florida. Pre-register. Make sure you catch the early bird special, because I can guarantee this is something you do not want to miss. You want to elevate, you want to escalate, you want to take it to the next level, and you want to launch, pre-register. BYOBforlife.net. Make sure you are registered. It is so imperative. It is so important to you and your growth. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure this evening, but this is a Power Pack Thursday. We are catching pips, and what we're also doing is, while you learn how to trade, you also learn why you are doing what you're doing. So I'm going to ask Dr. Bythewood for the power of the unmuted mic. Why is leverage needed? That is what we discussed this evening. And so I know he can elaborate and give us some more information, but it brings me great pleasure to bring to you all our business partner. This gentleman has a PhD in finance and economics, over for 25 years experience. He is here for you, a talk with the finance doctor. He has 100% of the information. He's having a lot of fun, and he is helping a lot of people. And tonight, he is here to assist us. Use the power of the unmuted mic. So with that being said, Dr. Bythewood, I want to turn this call over to you. Dr. Bythewood, are you on the call?
Yes, I am, Miss Tasha M. Dyer. Thank you very much for that introduction. Thank you very much for another powerfully consistent and productive training call. Thank you, everyone that's here, because you have made the decision to invest in yourself, and that's a beautiful thing. So also understand that each one of you is of value, because you are helping us to get to that point of 1 million. You're on the route to 1 million, and you will also be part of the process of helping us touch 1 million families. So shout out to all of you for being here this evening. So let's jump right into, the answer to the question about leverage. So from a financial perspective, the definition of leverage is the amount of debt. When you use debt, it's leverage. Now, you may not automatically see the connection between the word debt and the word leverage. So let's go to a different field. Let's go to the subject of science, or the subject of physics. The concept of leverage is used to represent when you use a force where the amount that you put on a force is going to be less than the result. In other words, if I use a levered pulley or a leverage tool, if I say put 10 pounds of pressure on something, the leverage may make the result be 50 pounds. So I'm literally able to create a larger result with a given force in physics due to leverage. Let me say it again. I'm able to create a larger force than the amount that I start with due to leverage. So that's the connection of debt. Because literally, debt allows me to get to a higher amount than I would have been able to get to without the debt. Let me use a perfect example. The federal government benefits from the economy. That's how the federal government is measured. If you look at history, times in which the government has been doing very well, it's because the economy is doing well. Times in which the government is perceived poorly by the people, it's because the economy is doing poorly. So literally, the economy is the way in which you're going to measure the government. So as a result, the government has an incentive for them to take steps or to do things so that you will take steps so their economy does well. How do they do that? Through debt. Think about it. If the economy is doing poorly and the government wants to jumpstart the economy, guess what they do? They reduce interest rates. When interest rates are reduced, that means it's cheaper to borrow. Therefore, there's more leverage in the economy because people now can buy more cars and purchase more houses. And when they do that, that leverage causes a multiplicative impact because all of the industries that do well when cars are purchased or houses are purchased now begin to do better. So for a particular force, reducing the interest rate, increasing the amount of debt, the impact on the economy is even bigger. Leverage. When the economy is going too fast, what the government does is to slow it down. First of all, what's wrong with the economy going too fast? What's wrong with the economy going too fast is that if the demand that we have for products outpaces the manner in which we're able to pay people more money, then that causes inflation. And inflation literally is something that people hate. So as a result of that, the government has to slow it down, put it back in balance. Guess what they do? They increase interest rates. When they increase interest rates, it makes debt more expensive. So if debt's more expensive, we'll buy fewer cars and we'll purchase fewer houses, and the economy goes back down. So I said all that to say this. Debt is leverage because it has the ability to be able to allow us to have a bigger impact than the debt itself. So now that we understand leverage, we can relate it to the foreign exchange market. The question was just asked by Ms. Autumn. Are we talking about dollars or are we talking about pips? And the answer was, we're talking about pips. Pips are a very, very small measurement. Another way of looking at a pip is that it's 1% of 1%. It's 1% of 1%. So it's a very small increment on purpose because it allows us to be able to control our movements and therefore put us in a better position to be able to mark the way in which foreign exchange is moving. So that's a good thing. It protects us that we use pips rather than dollars because pips are a smaller increment. However, when we invest a certain amount in a particular currency pair and the outcome is smaller, we have a way to increase the amount of money we can make on that small increment through the use of leverage. So the broker that you're dealing with allows you to have a leverage amount that's 1 to something. For example, let's suppose you have a leverage amount that's 1 to 100. That means for every dollar that you invest in a particular currency pair, you're actually going to have the ability to control 100 times that. So the actual amount that you earn is going to be 100 times whatever it is that you're doing. If you have 1 to 50, it's 50 times. If you have 1 to 200, it's 200 times. So literally, the leverage allows you as a foreign exchange trader to enjoy the same benefit that the government does when they reduce interest rates or increase interest rates. The impact of you being able to have debt and have that be part of your trade allows you to multiplicatively increase the amount that you can do. Now let's go back and talk about the infrastructure and how that works. What your broker does is your broker lends you money on what is called margin. So margin means every time you invest in a particular foreign exchange based on the leverage amount, the broker literally lends you money. And then when you make the particular amount on the trade, then a margin call happens, and all this happens behind the scenes. This is stuff you never see because IML makes it so simple for you. So behind the scenes, when you make that particular amount, then the margin call is paid back to the broker. Now, right now, if you think about what I'm saying to you, that a broker is actually lending you money, allowing you to make a higher percentage increase, and then taking its money back, you should be able to see right now, from a behind the scenes perspective, why it is so important that you use stop losses. Because by using stop losses, you are always in a position where your ability to be able to pay back the margin call is very easy. So what I'm saying right now to you is very big picture. And like Ms. Dyer said multiple times, we are using these sessions as a supplement to the IML Academy. There is a video called Lots and Leverage, in which you're able to learn how to look at the trade-off between the lot size that you have and the leverage amount by the broker. It's not the kind of thing you can snap your finger and understand right away. It takes layers and layers of understanding. So I've heard plenty of people say to me who are in this environment that they had to watch that video multiple times. So what I'm saying right now is a good big picture perspective, but you certainly want to go to your IML Academy and watch that video on lots and leverage. And what I'm saying to you now will help you to understand it a little bit better. So based on that question and based on my answer, are there any questions, comments, or testimonies about leverage? Any questions, comments, or testimonies about leverage? So I have a question.
Video explaining more about leverage that we can view, like say on.
Can you please say that a little bit louder for me?
Do you have any videos we could watch on leverage?
Yeah, like I just said, in the IML Academy, you want to watch the video on lots and leverage. It's part of the basics. And what I'm saying to you should not suffice. What I'm saying to you is literally the frosting on the cake of the IML video. So I'm telling you to go to that video and watch lots and leverage, because what I'm saying is very big picture, and that particular video is very specific. So I want to make sure we're clear. I'm telling you to fully understand what I'm saying, you should go and watch that video. In fact, let me go a little bit further. The way in which these calls should work is that these calls should be a supplement to basics. These calls should not in any way be a replacement for the basics. You have to go into the IML Academy and you have to watch the basics first. And then this is an addition to it. This is a supplement. So I have to say this over and over again because it is so important. You have to recognize that the way in which we're having these training tools, training talks, the way in which we're talking about this, it has to be a supplement to the IML Academy as opposed to a replacement. So that is the video that you need to watch to fully understand what I'm saying. And like I said before that question, I made the comment that several people in this environment have said to me or said to others in my earshot that they've had to watch that video multiple times. So any other questions, comments, testimonies about leverage? So just prior to getting on this call, I received a call from my daughter, who is a senior. And she's very excited because she's about to graduate and there's a lot going on. And you know, she's excited about going to college and all the things that seniors go through. So it's interesting to me as a dad to watch her go through this process. Well, one of the things that happened was that I really wanted her to play her senior year flag football. But she decided, Dad, I've got to get serious. I've got to buckle down and I'm going to get a job. She works at Smoothie King. And she even said to me, by working at Smoothie King, it can help me to eat healthy. So how, even though her selfish dad, who's a flag football player himself, wanted her to play her senior year in flag football, how do I possibly argue with a kid that's telling me that they want to make their own money and they want to prepare themselves for college? So I rolled my eyes, but I understood. I'm bringing this up because she made a comment about it today about how she missed flag football. So last year when she played flag football, she made all county, broke the school record for interceptions for a touchdown, did very well. And I say all that to say this. Me being the petty flag football playing father that I am, I went to every single practice. And one of the things I noticed at their practices is that they followed the same formula every single year, every single time. In fact, that team that she played on was ranked number 20 in the state of Florida. So bottom line is they go to practice and they would do drills for 90 minutes. And every practice they did the same drills over and over and over. Then in that last 30-minute period, they would put the flags on and now it's real. They would scrimmage. They would go against each other and it would be very competitive and it would be the part of practice that I loved. But in order for them to get to that part of the practice, they always went through those drills first. They always went through the 90 minutes. They never started the scrimmage prior to 90 minutes. They never did the scrimmage first. It was always drills, 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 practice, practice, practice. Now let's play. What does that remind you of? Well, it reminds me of the way in which IML has set up this opportunity. You are doing the same thing that number 20 in the state flag football team did. You have an opportunity to do your drills first. You have an opportunity to demo first. So you do the same thing that they did. Demo, 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 demo. Now it's real. After you feel comfortable, after you've done your drills over and over and over, now you can put that investing flag belt on and now you can scrimmage. So it's very important that we follow their lead. It's very important that we understand how the infrastructure of the way in which IML has set this up is so perfect. Do your drills first, go in your demo, spend time getting comfortable, and then it's time to scrimmage. So hopefully you all understand how critical that is, because we've talked about in this short amount of time, we've talked about some very important things. What is leverage? What are pips? Why is it better for you to use your stop loss? Why is it better for you to use your demo accounts? These are very, very important concepts, and I hope that everybody's okay with that. Now, I do have something I'd like to say, but before I do, I'd like to pause and ask if anyone has any questions, comments, or testimonies about anything. Remember two things. Number one, the power of the unmuted mic. That's when you really take yourself to the next level by asking the question that you want to know so that you can hear some things that can economically elevate your household right now. Second, we want to understand the fact that personal finance is the only area of our society where the individuals who give us information about it are the same individuals who sell it to us. If we wanted to know about the dangers of crack, we certainly would not ask a crack dealer, because the crack dealer has an economic incentive to tell you things that will benefit their business rather than your household. So what a wonderful opportunity we have to talk to someone who's been exposed to this information, who can help you navigate through this information objectively rather than subjectively. So one more time, questions, comments, testimonies. One of the things that I heard earlier today in the training was the conversation about why what we're doing here is different than the stock market. And that is a very accurate scenario. And I'd just like to touch on that a little bit and make you understand why this is so different. Ms. Dyer made the point about us in the stock market relying on and hoping that a particular company will do well. And luckily, we're in a situation where we don't really care. We don't care whether a company does well. We don't care if a company does poorly. We don't care if a currency does well. We don't care if a currency does poorly. What we care about is simply movement. What we are trading on is simply movements in the market. And there will always be movements in the market. I remember when I used to teach investment seminars, and people like to hear about stocks. So most of my investment seminars, I focused on stocks because that's the sexy part of the market that everyone wants to talk about. And I used to have this concept that I called parking lot management, which means that you could know a lot about what stocks to invest in by watching parking lots. I passed Panera Bread on the way home, and I noticed that the parking lot is always full. But when Panera first came out, that parking lot, I mean, people were all the way out of the parking lot, and Panera stock did very well. So here's a quick example. I remember some years ago that every time I would go to a Chuck E. Cheese in Brandon, Florida, it would always be very crowded. And one of the reasons why the Chuck E. Cheese was so crowded, and I always had to park far away from it when I would go to a party for kids, is because it was next to a Kmart. So the Kmart's in one spot, Chuck E. Cheese is right next to it, parking lot's always full. So maybe about 15 years ago, I received a call from a family member that said, hey, such and such is having a party at Chuck E. Cheese, we want you to be there. Okay, Uncle Craig will be there. So I jumped in my car, I drove to the Chuck E. Cheese in Brandon, and I noticed that I went right up and parked in the third space. I had never, ever parked that close to Chuck E. Cheese before, and I said to myself, well, I wonder what was going on. Well, when I got out of the car, I looked over at the Kmart and noticed that there were no cars in the parking lot. So at that moment, had I been actively thinking about the investment move, I would have thought this to myself. This is a perfect example for me to do what's called shorting a stock. Shorting a stock is the same thing that we do in the foreign exchange market, where we take a sell position and we make money, but the currency pair going down in value. Well, shorting a stock is the exact same thing. Had I shorted Kmart that day, I would have made a substantial amount of money because not 6 months after that, Kmart declared bankruptcy. And the indication was right there in the parking lot. So while I was in Chuck E. Cheese, a family member said, hey, can you take this little boy home? He lives in Valrico. Valrico is east of Brandon. I said, sure. So I got in my car and was driving down Highway 60. Remember, this is about 15 years ago. I'm driving down Highway 60 and I was in the leftmost lane. And I noticed that cars were actually stopped in the middle of the street. And I said to myself, what's going on? Why are these cars backed up in this left lane? And when I looked, they were all turning into this shopping center, this shopping plaza. And literally there were so many cars that it was backed up. So I looked over and I saw this big blue sign. And I said, wow, there are a lot of cars going into the shopping plaza to go into this store with this big blue sign. And of course, the name of the sign was Walmart. So had I purchased the stock of Walmart at that moment, I probably would have made a lot of money. So the parking lot told me Walmart is the stock to buy and Kmart is the stock to short. Now, I didn't do either one of those, but when I go back and look at the research of what the stock prices did, I was right. But this is my point. That pressure of trying to decide who the next Kmart is, trying to decide who the next Walmart is. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that because what we're doing is we're participating in a market that always moves. Why does it always move? Because every single day, somebody's making a purchase in another country. Every single day, someone's traveling to another country. Every single day, a company has a purchasing vendor or a purchaser who's making purchases in different areas. Every day there are companies that have to pay their employees in foreign currency. So literally, it's such a beautiful, easy market because all we're doing is making money off the movements. So think about it like this. My youngest daughter said to me the other day, Dad, we're going to Busch Gardens the other day. Do you need some money? No, I don't need any money because I have a pass. Oh yeah, you have a pass to Busch Gardens. Why do you like going to Busch Gardens so much, 8th grader? Because I love the rides. She loves getting on roller coasters. She loves getting on rides that move and go up and go down. And when she said that to me, I thought about the fact that's what we're doing in this foreign exchange market. All we're doing is just riding the wave. We don't care whether it's going up or going. People don't get on a roller coaster and say, oh my God, it's going up. They don't get on a roller coaster and say, oh, it's going down. They just enjoy the movement. They just enjoy the ride. That's what we're doing. And that's why this foreign exchange market and this cryptocurrency market is such a great place to invest. Because by making sure that we enroll and learn and understand the way in which these processes work and really put ourselves, by diving into the academy, we're literally putting ourselves in a position where we can go to the Busch Gardens of the financial market and we can just ride the ride. That's all we're doing. And it just makes it so much easier. So I agree 100% with what Ms. Dyer said. We don't care that the Dow goes down by 600 points. And if you really want to break that down, once you guys begin to master this foreign exchange and cryptocurrency market, and you decide that you want to dabble in the stock market, I'm cool. But think about how easy we can make this when we're not emotionally tied. I don't gamble. I do not gamble. But there's a saying in the gambling profession, never bet on your hometown team. And the reason why they say never bet on your hometown team is because you're emotionally connected to your hometown team, so you might not make the best logical decision. But think about something. When the Dow goes down, we're all upset. We're all mad. We're like, oh my God, the Dow's down. But think about it. If your favorite department store, say your favorite department store is Nordstrom's, and you love shoes from Nordstrom's. If Nordstrom's has a 75% off sale, does that make the quality of the shoe go down? Is it suddenly an ugly shoe because they have 75% off? No. If anything, you can buy more shoes because it's 75% off of high quality because of the sale. That's what happens when the Dow goes down. The Dow going down doesn't mean suddenly these companies suck. It simply just means that these companies now are having a 75% off sale. So when you understand the logic of this, instead of being, oh my God, the Dow's down, you just go buy a whole bunch more shoes. I can now buy more high quality shoes because the stock market is 75% off. So that's the beauty of us having these conversations, of us diving into the academy, of us understanding the logic, of us getting our own information from listening to the videos ourselves, and then using these training calls as a supplement so that we put ourselves in the best position to really understand it. My favorite Bythewoodism is this: if you know what you're doing, you will always have a job. If you know why you are doing it, you will always be the boss. So that's what we're doing here. We're understanding the why. We're understanding why the foreign exchange market is better. We're understanding why we're just on a ride at Busch Gardens instead of trying to figure out what company's going down and what company's going up. We don't care. We just want to get our annual pass, get on the ride, and enjoy ourselves. So with that in mind, I hope that everyone has enjoyed this talk with the finance doctor. I hope that you take the topics that we've discussed today and really marinate on this for over the weekend. So when you come back on Tuesday, you can unmute that mic and ask some questions that can help you to economically empower your household. Let's get it. Let's get to those 1 million families, and let's continue to do everything we can to elevate ourselves and all those around us. Thank you very much. And I will now turn this call back over to our host and our hostess.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Bythewood. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the power of the unmuted mic. I love it. And thank you for allowing me to unmute my mic and add to what we trained on this evening. So thank you so very much, Dr. Bythewood. Now, ladies and gentlemen, 1 million families. And that begins with you. So make sure Jacksonville Trade Expo, if you're in driving distance, begin planning now. 18 May, begin planning now. I will see you on the 18th for the Jacksonville Trade Expo. Make your plans and make sure you are there. And then the 20th of July, get your early bird tickets now. Make sure you get your early bird tickets now, because where you're going and what we're doing is taking it to the next level. Do not forget about the mental fast. How do I elevate? How do I maximize what is actually happening in July? How do I do that? It is a mental fast. So our books that's been posted, and we will repost them. Make sure you're reading them, because everything begins and everything starts with your mindset. What you believe is what you achieve. What you think is where you're going. So your mindset is so very important. So you want to make sure, if you read them, read them again. This is what we're going to do, and this is how we achieve and do that success, and we have that success. So yes, this is going to be posted again. Make sure you get to reading. This is so important. BYOB challenge. BYOB challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, the hashtags. BYOB challenge. You want to make sure that we're doing the hashtags. Make sure, because 1 million families, how do we reach them? You have to create that foot traffic. When people see you, they see the change in you, they see the elevation in you, and they're going to want to know what it is you're doing. Financially educating 1 million families through the BYOB challenge is what that is. So 7 a.m. tomorrow, 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 7 p.m., hashtags, BYOB challenge. You could be trading. So I want to emphasize the could. So these are the hashtags that's going to direct them back to you and everything else that we are doing within the BYOB. Because if you know, like I do, you click the hashtag. When you click the hashtag, then that is going to let them see everyone that is a part of the movement. So we want to do it. And also understand, why is it could? I want to emphasize the could, because people like to feel like they have some control in it. They want to know that they can do something. They want to feel empowered, not told what to do. So it's definitely, you could be trading. You could be trading. BYOB challenge, hashtags. Let's make sure we are doing that as well. So ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, this has been a power pack Thursday. That's what this been. So I will also, on Sunday, our next call is Sunday. If you are building distribution channels, if you are creating ATM machines, if you desire to do so, this is the leadership call Sunday night at 8 p.m., Monday night at 9 p.m. Also, if you are creating those distribution channels, if you are creating those ATMs, you want to make sure that you are present for the BYOB Power Start. This is how you elevate and escalate to the next level. That is what it is. So ladies and gentlemen, I want you to all have a wonderful and blessed evening, and this will officially conclude this call.